Hi there, Dr. Brian here on Thursday evening on the way home. I've got a panting sugar dog in the back, and all is well. A bit more of background on me. It's quite interesting to note how often those ideas that we have when we're quite young, that we think, could be what we will do with our life, we often give up in our teens and maybe into your 20s, and then you discover in later life that actually you're back to where you thought you might be when you were younger. So the big ideas that you set as a young person, I think we often lose sight of because we get confronted by the reality of life, and then we give up because it seems too hard, and often we've convinced ourselves. Others may have joined in the chorus, but generally we just decide that that idea was just a bit too far and we should settle for something less. But then that's often not satisfying, so you truck along, you realise that maybe you should see if you could go back and do what you wanted to do. So to fill in that sort of vague statement, when I was under 10, I sort of had two ideas that I might like to be a paediatrician, and I don't know why I picked that, working with children, though I know that did sort of think babies were quite cute, I thought I might be a priest, and I'm not quite sure I picked either of those. I suppose they were important roles in my social life. I grew up as a Catholic, so therefore a priest was an important person, and we went to the doctor infrequently. We were almost never sick, so it's not like we saw them a lot and they had high mana. But my mother, like every good mother, was very excited when she thought I wanted to be a doctor, because that was a job of status, and you were helping people, so it was doing good for everyone. I was doing good, and the other people were doing good too. And then you get to your teens and you realise that life is more difficult and complex, and I work out I could be gay, but then I thought I wasn't, and weirdly I thought I'd still get married to a girl. We're very confused, us individuals. And so you sort of clump through your life, and I think that's quite a distracting, saps your energy when you try to work out who you are and what you want to be. I went to university. It wasn't very successful. I remember a law lecturer telling me that people like me, because I'd failed rather impressively, people like me shouldn't be let loose on the public. He was doing a service to the public and the profession to stop people like me from finishing law school. So I went away with my tail between my legs, thinking, well, I won't do that and I won't do that, so I'll just have to pick something else that's a lower hanging fruit. So I think I sold houses, and I ran petrol stations, and I worked in hotels, and I sort of came around full circle and ended up as a chiropractor, and I love working with growing bodies, because if we can optimize them in growth like you do a sphalia or a tree or anything else in a growth period, then you have a much better full-sized product. We don't malnourish, the farmer doesn't malnourish his growing beasts. He actually ensures they have the best of everything so that he gets a great adult animal, because he's got a goal in mind. They have to be productive, wool or meat or whatever it is, milk. So I guess this idea of the initial goal, and then dropping into reality, whatever that is, where you give up on your goal because it seems just unachievable, and you, for whatever reason, you've convinced yourself, and everyone around you has helped you often, that it was an idea, but what a shame, it's just too big for you. And then you just realize along the way that you probably are as able as the people who have achieved. You just need a bit more direction and application, and then it all comes to be. So and along the as I look back, I'm very happy I didn't become a paediatrician, but with what I know now, I'm really delighted to be able to make really fabulous changes with growing bodies by not applying medicine by actually getting the body to grow beautifully and become everything the genes say it can be. That's a very satisfying place to be. And you know, we've got some clients in our tribe who arrived and they had a very negative diagnosis from the experts within the medical field, who were giving them the best that they knew, but basically the parents are told to get used to the fact that this child would be severely handicapped and would not, would never walk. And look, it was a process over time, and so we keep in mind that the experts had a prognosis, and we worked and we thought, I think there's more possible. And she crawled, and then she walked, and then she ran, and she's she's in a 13, but now she's developing words and has had a bigger vocabulary. She's at school, loves swimming. It's a beautiful story for that family, because much more is possible as more is possible. So that's the reason why we keep doing what we do, as much as everyone keeps doing what they're doing, because they see things that make it all worthwhile. So that's the goal. The goal is to do things that make it worthwhile and have fun along the way. So that's my story for the day, that I've had my own, falling into the pit of despair and thinking, oh dear, it'll never be much. I'll just be one of those, I'll be in the middle of the bell curve, feeling, quietly desperate for a life of not much achievement. But look, we've ended up where we are, and I now believe that there's a lot more headroom for where I'd like to go in the next few years. So look out. I'm intending to move there. So I'm going to wish you well, and have a great evening and a great day Thursday on the other side of the world, and we'll talk again on Friday. All the best.